Okay, so welcome everyone anyway. So for today's schedule, I'm just going to be basically talking about the webinar and kind of what is the FOLM project and why a business should support the FOLM project. Then I think probably the most exciting part is going to be actually interview with past participants. So we'll be talking to past participants and their experience of the FOLM program and what it has taught them. And then we'll have Nick Lanan from Venture Out, who will be speaking about his experience of the program and the change he has witnessed in participants as well. And then at the end, we'll just have a Q&A, kind of a poll and a wrap up of the actual business event. So yeah, thank you everyone for joining us here today anyway. So who's this program for? So it's basically for anyone who is 18 to 29 years of age, anyone who's not in full-time employment, education or training. And where exactly do we get the money from? It's from the EEA and Norway grants, so it's Fund for Youth Employment. And this basically allows us to offer the program for free, which is probably the best part about it, that people can access this no matter their background. So the aim of FOLM. So the FOLM program aims to reduce youth employment by helping young people to find a career pathway through a personal development program incorporating outdoor learning. So it enhances motivation and self-confidence. It teaches valuable skills for the next steps in life. So participants definitely become more connected to the environment. And above all, I suppose participants actually get to meet new people and make friends while on the FOLM program. So that's kind of a general aim of the program, but essentially it is to help young people to get back into employment, education or training. And so I guess, how do we do this? So there's three different phases in the FOLM program. So the first phase is recruitment and engagement. So this is where we kind of contact agencies, organizations and young people themselves. And it's kind of basically, we provide online presentations for agencies and young people. So if this is something for people that they'd be interested in, definitely let us know. And this is where we kind of establish that relationship with the interested young person. And so coaches will actually meet with the young people before they go out on the outdoor learning week. Even just from a safety point of view, just getting to know people's maybe medical backgrounds or that's kind of important just when we're going out on the hill. So phase 2. So in my opinion, it's probably the most, I suppose, interesting and different part about this program. And it's my own personal favorite. So this is where kind of the participants actually explore the outdoors of their local area and will be guided by expert outdoor learning trainers. So certain skills that they might learn is like fire making, leave no trace, outdoor cooking, navigation and time management. And for a lot of the young people, this is kind of the catalyst of where I suppose they learn about what it is that they want to do and where it is that they want to go. It's kind of the time that people take out of their lives to kind of think, what is it that I want to do and where am I going next? So in terms of phase 3, then this is the coaching and mentoring. So I think this is quite innovative in its own way, that it actually complements the outdoor learning. So after the outdoor learning week, we don't just kind of let young people just go, whoop, off you go. You've had this amazing, incredible experience and good luck. So no, we're all about trying to help them in terms of having that 5 to 6 weeks where the coach helps them in terms of like recognizing strengths and talents, maybe strengthening their soft skills, helping them to further build their self-esteem and self-awareness, and basically getting ready for employment or education or training, whatever it is that they choose to do. So the coaches kind of work with them on CV development, training and job initiatives. And they do this through the FOLM platform. And this helps assist kind of employment and training opportunities. And I suppose the key part of this as well, not only after the coaching element, which is 5 to 6 weeks, we also have a following 6 months where the mentor will actually check in with them once a month just to see how they're getting on and, you know, how they're moving forward with probably the goals that they set themselves at the end of the outdoor learning. So it's important to note that, you know, they actually write their own action plans at the end of the outdoor learning week. So yeah, so that's kind of the 3 phases. Um, so I guess for anyone here that's joining as a business and future employers, I suppose you're questioning what kind of skills do these participants learn through the FOLM project? So, I mean, time management is one big thing that we find. In terms of the most recent one, people have to be on time for the bus. They have to be there or they won't be able to go on the outdoor learning part. In terms of the old model, it was you actually had a role, someone who was a timekeeper while they're up on the hill. So somebody always had the watch and was like, okay, we're not doing this, we have to move along, we have to keep on track. So time management is definitely a skill that is learned while up on the hill. Then in terms of goal setting, like I mentioned earlier, they write an action plan. So this action plan is, they write down their goals, but they do it through a smart way. So they learn about SMART goals and how to actually pave out. I know one of the things that we did was like stepping stones. So you're throwing a stone out in front of you, and how do you actually set a goal and achieve it? Problem solving. There's a lot of problem solving happens up on a mountain when you have a lot of wet stuff, and how do you cope with it? And when you're out in the tents, or you're out cooking outdoors and you've forgotten your spoon or your knife, like how am I going to eat? So that's just simple things like problem solving. It's definitely happens in the outdoors. Then in terms of navigation, both in kind of like a physical sense of learning how to navigate your way on a mountain, but also in metaphorically later in the coaching, like how to navigate through a goal or something that you've set yourself. How do I get there? Then we have resilience. I'm sure a lot of the past participants here are very sure of, like, there was times they were up in the mountain and they were like, I don't know if I can do this, but they just kept going and kept with it. And then I suppose leadership is a great skill that's learned. You get the different participants take on a role in terms of leading the group and making sure that they get from A to B. So this really builds on the outdoor part as well as the coaching part, because they do take different roles when they're in the coaching part as well. And working as part of a team, I think this is the key to probably your survival when you're out in the mountain as well. It's just in terms of, I've seen it even myself. I was an outdoor trainer, and just seeing how the participants supported each other when somebody was finding it hard to get up a hill, or people really supported each other. And I think that's a key skill that is learned during this course in this program. And then environmental awareness. This is like key in terms of like just leave no trace and learning about how to look after and your environment. So then why should I as a business support FOLM? So benefits for employers. So you get access to motivated and responsible young people. They have a range of different skills, as we talked about earlier. You're also helping to combat youth unemployment, which is going to be a big issue going forward, considering the impact of COVID. You're also helping support local communities in terms of employing young people who are in your community. And then access to the FOLM website. So this is like basically a database of FOLM participants across Europe. So just also to let you know that this is also happening in Spain and Poland as well. So yeah, it's a European-wide project, which is great. And then civic social responsibility. So I'm also aware that today we also have participants as well. So I don't want to just be for all the employers. There's also benefits for the young people themselves as well. You have the opportunity to have diverse and inclusive employers signed on. And then it's key about like opening a line of communication between young people and future employers. So, access to a database of employers across Ireland, Spain, and Poland, and then job offers actually being listed on the FOLM website. So that's kind of the benefits for employers and young people. I suppose it's key to also realize that today I'm not asking for employers to give us job offers. What I'm just asking for is basically for you to be open and willing. So we'll just move to the next slide. So like, we just want you to be open and willing to engage with the young people who have gone through the FOLM program. So I understand jobs are not, they're not plentiful right now. So, you know, it's even just being able to share your story and your journey of your business journey, maybe to inspire their future career choices. So as part of the coaching, we tend to bring somebody in to talk about their business or their you know, how they set up their business to inspire kind of the FOLM participants. So this could be a way that you could be involved. In terms of what we need in terms of commitment, I suppose, is that if you could register to the FOLM website and upload your logo, link to your website, and name of your company. So this is a way that, you know, the funding operator and other partners, you know, other companies across Europe and the participants can see you visually supporting the project. And then, of course, if you're in a position to offer jobs or work experience, you can upload the offer to the FOLM website for participants to join. So how do I sign up to support FOLM? This is the website here. I think Mick might share it in the chat. So hopefully that's, yeah, if you could share it in the chat, Mick, that would be great. So just, it's really simple. All you need to do is put your company name in here. The company TRN is relative to Spain, so don't worry about that. And then you just put in your username, email, and password, and then you click register, and then you'll be registered onto the FOLM platform. You might have to wait maybe a few hours for the actual login details to come back to you, but once it does, then you just put up your URL of your website, the name of your company, and your logo, and then that's it. You're basically supporting FOLM. And then, you know, if we have interested participants who maybe want to do work experience with you, then we can always facilitate that conversation to happen as well. And this is just another way of helping that. So I'm very aware of time. So I think the next part that we have to do is talk to basically our participants. So I think maybe the best way to do this might be if we get people to introduce themselves. So I might maybe just introduce yourself when you did the project or the FOLM program, and maybe what you're doing now, just so that we get a kind of an idea of the different past participants that are here. So Mairead, I might ask you if that's okay. Let yourself be known.
Hello, I'm Mairead. I took part in the FOLM program in October, so not that long ago now. So I am still searching for work, but I am getting a lot of interviews, I think, between the course itself and the coaching afterwards, 6 weeks of coaching afterwards. I think it really helped kind of focus what I was looking for. I think my problem was kind of prioritization, just like being overwhelmed if I wanted to do so many things at one time. And I think the course kind of helped me kind of deal with that. So yeah, fingers crossed I have a 3rd round interview next week. So
amazing, brilliant. Yeah. And what's the interview for? Just a matter of interest.
For a student services role. So I have a background mainly in teaching TEFL, but like I specialized in philosophy, which is really interesting, but like quite difficult for jobs, like if you don't go into academia. So yeah, I've been trying to branch out from teaching because I just I realized it really wasn't for me, and it wasn't really good for my health. Because yeah, I just never had the personality for it, but I was just kind of staying in it just cause. So I wanted to transition into something different, and then the pandemic happened. But I think FOLM course kind of helped to kind of get me out of that rush of thinking and kind of motivated me. It really was good. I'm really glad I did it.
Oh, that's brilliant. Well, thanks a million, Mairead. I might come back to you again, but we'll go on to the next person. So I think if Stacey, if you can just.
Hi guys, I'm Stacey here. I done my one in Clonmel last June, which was such a brilliant experience. During I think it was like 2 weeks after my outdoor, I got a phone call that I got my job in Emphasis, where I am actually at the moment, in a call center working in customer service. Now I've recently also went on to do a course for personal training as well. So I'm doing that on the weekend, but I'm still working away as well in the call center. And yeah, it was like an amazing experience that I've had with them.
Yeah, and I've actually been talking to you that you like before you had been actually out on the mountain again. You'd gone back to where you had been out in the mountains in Knockmeal Downs.
Yeah, I actually went back out to the duck pond in Golden a few times, and every time I go, I'm like, oh, this was the table we had our morning meeting. Like I could just remembered when we were there and remember how the duck like bit our fingers and how we got chased by the ducks. With the memories come every time I go out there. So yeah, it's brilliant. Like,
Oh, amazing! Thanks a million, Stacey.
thank you, Amy.
Yeah, no worries. Then Miranda, is Miranda here?
Yep.
Hi, Miranda.
Hey. Hi, Stacey. I actually did mine with Stacey.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was June 2019, and it was definitely amazing. As Stacey said, I mean, like, I haven't gone back to the duck pond, but I went back up to Liam Lynch's monument not long after. I mean, the mountains, you look out my window and it's right there. So I'm reminded every day of it. And the coaching afterwards, we did this thing where we wrote down stuff about each other. And then Shirley wrote it down on this, what I think it was A3, big ass piece of paper. And I have that on the back of my door with like people saying what they thought of each other. Like, say, mine was like team player, brilliant timekeeper. I was the only one who had a watch, so I had to share my watch. But it definitely, I loved it for sure. I would recommend that to anyone.
Amazing. Well, thanks very much, Miranda. And then is Kevin here?
Yeah, I'm here, yeah.
Hi, Kevin.
You hear me all right there, yeah?
Yeah, maybe just speaking a little bit louder.
Yeah, I done the course in last year. I done it with Nick, and yeah, it was unbelievable, to be honest. I've since gone back to education myself. I
Yeah.
went back and done a personal training course also, and now I'm doing addiction studies part-time.
Amazing.
But to be honest, like if it wasn't for doing the FOLM, I probably wouldn't have gone into those areas. Like, you know what I mean? I wouldn't have had the self-confidence and resilience to go forward with what I actually wanted to do. Like,
Yeah, yeah. Oh, that's amazing. And you were saying when I was chatting to you actually last week, you were saying that you might have a bit of interest in the outdoors as well, maybe following that going forward too.
yeah, to be honest, like from just doing the FOLM course, it made me realize, do you know what I mean, that I actually do enjoy being outdoors, and like how good outdoor education can be. Like, I think that it'd be a great area to get into if I wanted to go further, like with youth work, or I mean helping out with stuff like that. So it's definitely something that I do want to go on to as well.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, we have some employers here that might be interested and taking you on maybe, so we can facilitate that afterwards if you'd like anyway.
That's great, yeah.
And then I think, is Daniel here as well?
Hello.
Hi, Daniel.
You hear me, yeah? How are you doing?
Yeah, good.
My name's Daniel from Cashel. I did mine last October of 2019. Before that, I was on a course. Shortly after that, I got the opportunity to work with FOLM, to go do meetings and talk my story with Mick and all that. Right now, I'm working away with Fit Stoves in Cashel. I'm actually on the job now. You can see all that.
Thanks
So,
for joining us.
yeah, I told my boss I'm going out for a screwdriver. I just waited to start yelling. But yeah, I done my story. I done FOLM, and I did have the opportunity to work with you a lot after, and it is a wonderful project, and it shows with the amount of people that are in this and show positivity towards it.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. So I suppose like just so we kind of have a general overview of loads of different people, and I suppose this is kind of the hardest thing with FOLM. It's very hard to kind of, I've often been asked what's the profile of a FOLM participant, and like as you can even see there, it's so hard to categorize people. The only thing that they have in common is the fact that they're 18 to 29 and that they're just not in employment, education or training at the time that they join the course. So it ranges from people who have, graduated out of college. We have people who are in college and might have taken a break. We have people that might not have finished their Leaving Cert. So the range is so vast and different. And this is probably why it's important for businesses and employers to realize that, you have to take each person as they come, but to realize that they've gone through this amazing process of being outdoors, and, being up on a mountain, learning all these different skills, and then going into coaching afterwards. And I think it's a true testament to all the participants that are here today, a year and a half even later on after they've done the FOLM course and have said yes to actually coming today and giving their story and sharing their experience. So I really thank you for all that. So I might just ask a few questions of different people. I don't want to put you on the spot, but you can pass the question on if you're not sure about it. But maybe Mairead, I suppose, how did FOLM prepare you for your next step?
I think it gave me some clarity. I think between all the different things we did, between the smart ideas and doing the action plan and everything, it kind of made a clearer timeline for me in terms of what goals I wanted to set when. So yeah, it made me kind of focus on what was like my main goal and which was to get a job.
And considering you've only just finished it in October now, and you're already getting to a third interview, that's incredible, and you were saying you had 2 interviews when I was talking to you last week as well, so that's such a good reflection on the fact that it's motivated you so much to do this. So yeah, thanks for that. I suppose maybe Kevin, if I ask you, what strengths did you become aware of when you were in FOLM?
For me, it would have been I just learned how I was good at building relationships and stuff, and I learned that from being on the course. And the coaches noticed things in me that I didn't notice in myself, like my ability to communicate between the lads and, you know what I mean, build camaraderie and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I also learned that I can be a good leader as well, like when it comes to all that kind of stuff, like speaking with other people. And I suppose with the learning part, like within the afterwards for the 6 weeks, I realized that I actually love learning, like especially when it's something that I'm interested in, you know what I mean? I'll really put in the effort and do my best, like. So
yeah,
there were a lot of things that I learned, like, about myself.
Yeah, amazing. That's so good. And I think if you can find joy in learning again, that's, life becomes a lot more interesting. No, that's brilliant. Thanks a million, Kevin, for that. Miranda, I might ask you this. What was your favorite part about FOLM?
My favorite part, honestly, there was a lot.
Okay.
Definitely meeting the new people. I mean, day one when we walked into the classroom at LIT, there was 3 of us sitting there in there at the time. So there was me, Max, and Stacey. Sat down beside Stacey, and instantly we clicked. We actually, like, my brother's girlfriend, her sister is friends with Stacey, so it's like it felt like we knew each other already. And then we met everyone else, and most people that showed up that day did go up the mountain with us, and it was just everyone just clicked so easy. We got along. One person showed up the day we were leaving because they were from somewhere on Limerick, I think. I'm not sure. Instantly clicked with her. It's like she had been there with us the whole time. So definitely meeting the people, meeting the coaches. I absolutely loved the coaches. They were amazing. Peter and Jed. I mean, with the one-on-ones that we had up the mountain, didn't even feel like we were having a one-on-one. It just felt like we were just having a conversation. Well, because that's how comfortable you felt with them. You didn't feel like they were like analyzing what you were saying. And, you could say something to them and then they'd give you advice or suggestion or anything like that.
Yeah.
Definitely helped a lot.
No, amazing. Thanks a million, Miranda.
I definitely think that they helped me figure out that I really want to do graphic design, which is what I'm doing now in a course.
Brilliant, amazing. Yeah, you were telling me about it last week actually, so it sounds really interesting. So amazing, thanks a million, Miranda. And then maybe Stacey, if I could just ask you, how did the coaching kind of help prepare you?
Yeah, so with the coaching, like I personally loved it myself because I'm like, the way I looked at it was it really gave me confidence. Like it was like, oh, you like it was so good for confidence. And then as Miranda was saying, like the teamwork, like we clicked like a paperclip. Like we were so clicked together, and like me and Miranda clicked so well together because like, and then it felt like that we knew each other because like I'm best friends with one of her, like I'm best friends with her brother's girlfriend's sister. So like it was really good with like clicking that, and then clicking with all the lads as well as the team. And then like with the coaching aspect, like it really developed my confidence. Like like as I said, like obviously I've left the course earlier because I got my job like straight away. And I remember ringing Marie, telling her I got my job, and Marie was like, "Well done!" Like don't, and I was like, "Oh, thanks so much." And I think like the encouragement, the well done from everyone was just brilliant. Like, and then I recently met them Miranda last year, just before the whole COVID, and I think we sat down and had dinner for about like 2 hours, and it was like just the click between everyone, like was just amazing.
Yeah.
And the coaching like really developed my confidence. Like it really kind of got me out there. And then obviously with going back to Golden as well, like really kind of made me realize that I wanted to be, so as Jed would say, that I would be a really good teacher.
Oh,
And kind of that brought that back to me. And I was like, a teacher, like what could I do to be a teacher? I was like, I don't think that would suit me. So then I recently then went back to the gym and was like, no, I really want to be a personal trainer. So I think, well, at least with a personal trainer, I'm teaching someone and I'm helping someone. So yeah, I kind of have that aspect that I'm studying there at the moment as well as working.
amazing. That's brilliant. That's great that you found that while doing FOLM. So thanks a million for that, Stacey. And so Daniel, I'll just ask you, what do you think as a FOLM participant you can offer future employers?
I got my job 6 months ago, and they're happy with me. The people that have done this project have seen something else. They've seen a different side. Seen a different side to Ireland. If you can spend a week up the mountains living out of a backpack, you can do that. You're after bringing on a group of people here that maybe had anxiety or fear or whatever, and they're able to speak freely. They're able to speak freely of a passion, and that is something I think you should be looking for. They can step forward when it's their turn to talk and lead the conversation, but they can also step back and listen. They can listen to the other people that they know were on the same journey but had different experience than them. I'm happy enough in my job, so I don't know if the question is for looking for work. What should I say to you that I'm looking for work? But you have an opportunity to work with people that are looking for something more and know they can do more. And FOLM it is a wonderful, wonderful project. It's after changing my life severely. It's after changing all these people's lives. And I don't know, just giving them an opportunity or giving them whatever, even a voice to talk to would be wonderful. Would be inspiring.
Yeah, that's like incredible to hear that, Daniel. And I don't know if you realize, but I think Stephen is actually on the call, which is your.
Hi, Stephen! Oh, Flamingo!
So
I didn't know. I want you to say to them, I didn't bully you into joining this.
no, I chatted to him last night. But Stephen, so Stephen is actually Daniel's employer. So I think it would be worth getting kind of
Pick up my man.
it might be worth getting his kind of, I suppose, 2 pence on what he thinks the difference, because he's known Daniel before actually the program. So Stephen, I don't know if you're there.
Oh,
Hi Stephen.
How are you?
Good, not too bad. So Stephen, I suppose my question to you is the difference that you have seen in Daniel since he kind of started
I've
program.
known Dan for most of his life, I'd say, but he was always quiet, reserved, you know, he was a really shy kind of person. And after doing the FOLM and all, you know, I gave him a chance, I employed him, I gave him a shot, but he completely changed his attitude after it. You know, it was like he actually learned a lot on that mountain, like, and he talks about it all the time. But he's after going from like a shy person to a very confident person that, you know, anyone would be happy to employ him. Like, I'm lucky I have him working for me.
Yeah.
Because he's, you know, he's always on time. He's always interested in doing overtime. You know, he can swap his skills to whatever we want him to do. Like,
yeah,
and
amazing.
basically what we employ him for is two very different roles. Like, we have him installing stoves in the winter, and then in the summertime he's setting up a water park. So he's like free diving and he's swimming down to the bottom of a lake. So it's something that, you know, not a lot of people could do. Like,
yeah. So maybe that's a key skill that I suppose you kind of learn when you're doing the outdoor part as well, is the fact that adaptability, you know, I mean, you're out in the hill with a tent and suddenly it starts milling down rain and you have to change so quickly and you have to be so dynamic when you're outdoors. So I suppose this might be the fact that he can swap between those two roles is a great advantage.
exactly, yeah, it's very good. Like, you know, and there's not a lot of people that have that skill to be able to swap between that variety of roles.
Yeah.
You know, Fulham is definitely a part of that, of helping people coming out of their shells and teaching them new skills. Like,
yeah, amazing. Oh, brilliant. Well, thank you so much, Stephen, here
no problem at all.
and I'm sure Daniel is delighted now. But thank you so much, and it's great to just hear from an employer's perspective what it's like to employ somebody who has come through the FOLM program. So thank you very much for your support. And
No problem at all.
So again, I know I'm so aware of the time, but I could listen to all of you talk about the FOLM program all day, and thank you so much to every participant who has joined us today. I honestly believe that each one of you will find what you're looking for, and some of you are doing it now anyway. But yeah, I thank you so much for talking today. So I think what we'll do next is actually move to Nick. He works in Venture Out and he works as an outdoor learning trainer for the FOLM project. And as I think Kevin mentioned earlier, and Mairead, he's worked with both of those participants. So Nick, I might hand it over to you.
How are you doing? Are you well? Can you hear me okay there?
Yeah, you can.
Brilliant. Well, everyone's face has just popped up on my screen there, so it looks open that all together. Thank you very much for having me on. And also just to Kevin and Mairead there, this has been great to listen to you there. And the rest of the participants, I don't know how much more I can add to what you've already said. I think it just echoes the confidence has grown in all of you, and the power of the project itself in the outdoors, that you can come on to a Zoom meeting and speak so clearly and so articulately about the experiences you've had. So I'd first off say congratulations and fair play. But just myself, I'm one of the co-founders of the Venture Out Wilderness Project. I'm also a youth justice worker for Feroiga in Galway, and I run some of the expeditions for the FOLM project as well. So I've many different jobs that keeps me busy. But it's the outdoors that have always been drawn to my expertise. You know, about 15 years experience working within the youth and family sector, and for the first 4 of them worked within Switzerland, England and Sweden, delivering expeditions for young people who were severely aggressive and at risk, and went through a range of different difficulties. But coming back to Ireland was one of the key passions, was because that, you know, the outdoors and these type of programs like the FOLM project didn't really exist, and it kind of became a personal mission for myself and Barry and the organisers of FOLM and LIT to create programs like this and give these opportunities to a lot of different participants. So it's great to see such enthusiasm and engagement in it. Just looking at I suppose the benefits that I've observed over the last 2 and a bit years of trying to set up and run these expeditions, you know, all the participants mentioned it there. And one of the kind of key things that kind of kept jumping up was, you know, that resilience or that social support or that ability to kind of connect with peers and kind of take out the inner resources that people have and kind of make them shine. I've done a little bit of research into that, and I suppose I'll share just one or two paragraphs and quotes from other guides and practitioners who developed and work on these type of programs in Ireland over the last couple of years. Don't worry, I won't bore you down with too much research bits, but just a little bit to kind of synopsize what people were kind of getting at there and why that's important. And especially for employment, you know, employers now want to see people who will last in the job and who are enthusiastic in the job. I think that, and you know, that's a symbiotic relationship between employer and staff member, that you're both enjoying and getting the most out of it. So when it comes to the idea of resilience, and you hear it in the media a lot about the country and what's going through now, like how do we promote and build that resilience? And you know, one of the key researchers in it is called Rutter, and you know, he was saying that typically within outdoor education experiences, the focus is to develop skills and to draw on one's inner resources and the resources available externally. So the support from peers, staff, guides, employers, and also to push forward in the face of exhaustion and fear. So that idea that the outdoors does challenge you. And he's saying that it is important to build resilience, not to avoid these challenging or stressful situations, but by engaging with it. I think that's very important because, you know, we all face challenging circumstances, and if we just say no to it or engage it or move away from it, they'll always follow you and they'll always come back to haunt you. And what's good about the outdoor FOLM project and expeditions and the outdoors in general is that, you know, you don't exactly have the chance to run away from it or hide from it. Like, you do have to engage and push through it. And with the guides in phase 2 and the coaches in phase 3 of the FOLM project, those challenges live on. And the idea of the coaches and for the practitioners delivering the project, you know, you have to draw on those experiences, or else, you know, it doesn't mean anything. You kind of had a good time, good week in it. And it's very important for the coaches and participants to actually engage in those memories and to kind of see, is like, well, how can we transfer that into workplace? You know, and Ray, you perfectly summed it up there in terms of, you knew that maybe you were thinking about too much kind of things, and you were able to actually narrow that focus down. And one aspect of that phase 2, that expedition piece, is that we teach kind of small little nuggets of like personal development, goal setting, or like you mentioned, SMART goals, you know, which is like, you know, if I have a goal to learn the guitar or to get a job, what is the job? Make it specific. Is it measurable? Is it attainable? Is it realistic? And is it in timely fashion? You know, if you write that out, any goal can become very, very clear. And these always seem like very simple kind of little things, but when you actually hear it and you work on it, it's actually really, really crucial. You know, I always kind of use the analogy, it's like a gym membership on your keyring. You know what I mean? You're not going to get fit and strong if you just leave it on the keyring. You have to use it, you have to adapt to it, and you have to put it into real life. And just kind of, I suppose, the quote, and after a piece of research I did, one participant mentioned the outdoors, and it's a lovely paragraph, and I'll just share that quote with you because it's definitely better than what I can articulate for you in terms of why the outdoors is so powerful and why it can be so helpful within an employment or even, you know, just personal development. Because in employment, we always have to engage with people. You can't just, very little roles that you have where you just have to deal with yourself all the time, and that's never very fun. So in an outdoor, I'll just read it out here. The outdoors, it enables people to have a more authentic and real relationship outside than you would have indoors. Almost the distraction of the activity or the environment helps them relate more naturally. They are suffering through the same conditions, the same weather, the same excitement. And that helps people to connect and create a stronger social bond because it gets to the essence of the person. The more inner self is revealed under pressure. I think when that happens, there is an opportunity for a stronger social connection, and these social networks last long after the activity. And I could just, that quote alone and listening to the participants there speak is that, you know, that shared bond and that shared experience gives you a level of enthusiasm and drive and dedication that you can actually apply anywhere. Like, I work within the youth sector, and I work with, you know, very severe youth neglect and family circumstances, and, you know, it's quite a sad situation. But sometimes when you offer experiences even to young people who are suffering the most, they can draw on that strength and draw on that experience to actually drive through the life that they're living in. and to gain more from it. And if you could do that at the most extreme, imagine within a working environment how the outdoors can really boost the quality in your staff, the communication levels between management and your staff. All the research and evidence is there that boosts productivity within anyone. And we all know ourselves, the happier your staff are, the happier anyone wants to get in. Even with the last restrictions of everyone working from home, we all thought it was great for the first couple of weeks, but Jesus, if I have to work at home anymore, I go mad. I need to get back into the office and where people are at. And I think that's when, we can definitely fulfill all the goals that people set out within their workplace. I don't know if I have much more to add to what I've just said there, but I'll happily take questions if anyone has any.
Thanks a million, Nick, for that. That's brilliant. It's great to just hear your perspective on kind of the outdoors and the impact it can have in terms of preparing people for employment. So yeah, I suppose that kind of draws all of that to a close in a way, but we definitely, if anyone has any questions, I think it'd be nice to get some discussion going. Maybe even if employers maybe have questions for past participants, or if they want to ask about particular things that maybe they learned about or that, you can drop them into the chat, or you can put up your hand as well. Doesn't matter. So maybe
Evie, could I come in?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I just wanted to, I suppose, from an employer point of view, just give a perspective.
Yeah.
A huge amount of respect for you guys in terms of what I've heard you talking about this morning. To hear you so articulate and communicating your experience in such a way is very inspiring. And I think that particularly over the last couple of months, COVID has taken a lot, particularly from young people, in terms of the socialization opportunity. And it's been a very difficult time to keep self-motivated and to keep focused on the goal that Nick was talking about, setting out those lovely SMART goals. You kind of have to remind yourself every so often and stick to the plan, as it were, although it can change. I think what you've learned on your program is invaluable in life in terms of the skills. And from an employer point of view, I suppose what we're always looking for are people coming into an organization that are well able to communicate and interact with the team around them and have a really good understanding of the strengths and weaknesses of each other. And when building a team, I suppose what I'm always looking for is people that can come in who can add value. Again, that means maybe education, training, upskilling, but who have respect for each other and who are very much about bringing the best out of each other in the true sense. I think that your career path may change as you go, and the fact that you've had coaches and mentors on the program, I would say stay close to them, because they're very important in life to have people like that who can, through experience, not tell you what to do, but who can guide you to making the right decisions for yourself in your own personal development and career development. Daniel, I was very taken with your summary where you talked about a little bit about the introvert and the extrovert, and very much the introvert who is thinking all the time, has so much going on in their mind, but might find it difficult to express their opinion, and very much the extrovert who's go, 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 talk, talk, talk. And it's that lovely summary that you gave, Daniel, of being able to talk, but equally being able to listen. And that makes for a really good team. From my own point of view and what I do, I have a number of businesses, have come from a background in hotel management, and went into training and development was always my passion. And from there developed a training academy for dog grooming, and also another fun business which is all around event management and parties. And I suppose what I learned in my career was all about service and really good service and looking after people from a 5-star point of view. I'd like to extend to any of you, if I can give you any help, any support, any advice, put my email. I'm more than happy in any way that I can to, take a phone call, do a Zoom, And I just wish you all the very best with your future careers.
Thank you so much, Grace. That's incredible. And thank you for that lovely sentiment and to reflect on what the participants have talked about. I know myself, I'm blown away by the difference I've seen in them. You know, I've worked with Daniel on the hill. I was an outdoor trainer for him, but I also worked in Group 1 as well. And it's, you know, for me, even to be a part of seeing these young people grow has just been incredible. And I'm so grateful to all of you, the participants, for letting me be part of that journey. So I just hope that we can inspire more young people for the next year ahead as well. So yeah, I have a few more questions actually here in the chat. So Darren has asked, I would love to know what the trainers have learned about themselves also. How has FOLM changed you and how you interact with young people? Nick, I don't know if you want to take that one.
Yeah, I suppose what I've learned, because I ran a lot of these programs, predominantly experiences from outside Ireland, but when you run them in Ireland, you realise how amazing Ireland is in terms of its location, its actual land, and how far you can actually travel on it with a rucksack without actually seeing a car. It's all there on our doorstep. In terms of what I've learned for myself, you know, I think I actually draw on the experience I had with Kevin on the hill, was that, you know, you saw a person there with a tremendous amount of skills that were just buried beneath him. And I suppose, you know, you often think of these personal development coaching things as, you know, you're going to give some kind of inspirational speech, or you're going to have to, you know, really try and draw them out of it. And that's not the case at all. It's actually, you know, lay out an experience, say a few small words in your one-to-one, and the skills are all there. Like, I think what I've learned massively is that everyone needs an opportunity to kind of shine and to get that break away from their community that actually lets them realize, actually, hold on a second, I have this. You know what I mean? This is what I mean. And it wasn't what we did or what FOLM did. It was just allowing for that experience, and for Kevin to be able to actually see that these are there and they're real and they're attainable. And what I learned from that is that less I say, better, and let the outdoors do the talking.
Yeah. Yeah, and just even to follow on from that point, like, I know myself, FOLM is just creating a space for young people to basically think through what it is they want to do. It's not about telling them you have to do this or you have to do that. It's just creating that space, and the outdoors does that for you, as well as the coaching and the mentoring. I know I've learned so much, and it's, you know, if it's funny, you think going in that you wouldn't learn that much, but you absolutely do. You learn so much from the people that you engage with, from the different participants and that. So I've learned so much as well through this experience. Daniel, you raised your hand there. Did you want to speak?
Yeah, I just want to make a point on the trainers and all that. They brought the groups up of strangers, and they made them feel at home up there. They didn't, and as you said, they didn't push anything down our throats. They didn't make us do anything. They gave us opportunities. I want to say something about Mick, not Mick that was talking, the lanky ginger fella that he knows me, but that man he wasn't on the mountain with us, but he was there every step of the way. The Fulham group, and I seen him more than anyone, they were there every step of the way. If it was get us the food up halfway through, if it was when we were lying underneath the stars asleep, he was up making sure all of us were safe. You know, like, it's a wonderful, wonderful group that you have there. And I had the opportunity now to go up with Alvin, that beautiful lady, and Jed, he's an absolute king. But you know, they took strangers up and they showed them a different way of living. To give us all our voice back. To give me my fucking voice back. Sorry for cursing. To give me my voice back. And and I'm truly grateful.
Yeah.
And oh yeah, Stephen, I'm going to give you a hug when I see you.
COVID. Thanks a million, Daniel, for that. So it's just incredible to hear that feedback, and you know, I've enjoyed just as much watching you grow throughout this journey as well. So I just have there's another question from Mick here. how did the guys manage without phones for the week? Some concern from employers is that he/she is always on the phone. Maybe I seen Danny from Ishka there. Danny, what would be your opinion on that, actually? Just if you could.
Sure. So I guess here in Ishka we take mostly TY groups during the kind of outside of the summer months, and what we do is we kind of package our tours with a I'm forgetting the name of it now. We basically say to the groups that we take their phones away from them for the majority of the stay, and we set the levels so that they either have their phones or their phones are taken away for the entire trip, or they can have them just once during the day, just for a couple of hours. And it's funny, the feedback from the teachers is that a lot of the time that they think it's great when the students are interacting with each other, rather than sitting around, looking at a screen and kind of talking to other people. They might even be talking to them, the other members of their school group. But once the phones are taken away, that they're actually talking with each other, interacting, playing games, like very simple games, like like chess and things like that.
Yeah.
And the teachers are blown away by how much they see their students that are normally interacting in a very different way with each other, or not interacting. That just the simple task of taking away the phones makes such a big difference. There's usually pushback from the students when they come in, but then within a couple of hours, it's forgotten about. I think it's a very important thing to kind of to realize that there is a heavy reliance on mobile phones and technology and screens nowadays, and that sometimes you just need to take the step back and realize that you can in fact survive without them for a little bit.
Yeah, amazing. No, that's brilliant. Thank you for that. And I suppose just to let people know, like I'm sure as the participants know, their phones were they weren't part of the experience, let's say. So they were given that space and that time to basically step away from technology and see how much more they can see in the world, I suppose, when they're not constantly looking at it. And I know I'm even finding myself, there is a huge amount of technology and so much information being, especially now because we can't meet up with people. It definitely is a blessing, but it also can be a curse. And so sometimes to step away from technology can be an advantage too. So thanks a million, Danny, for that. Stacey, you had put up your hand there.
Yeah, I actually put up my hand to actually answer the phone question because I was this person that was worried about my Snapchat streak. If no one knows Snapchat, you just send a snap to your friend, and I was always worried about that. And I remember when I came back, I was like, I'm not going to go on my phone when I come back. And like, I think the minute Marie came back with her bags, I like ran, took my phone, and was like, yes. But to just have the urge not to actually have the phone for a week, I was like, what is everyone saying? But the social media stigma, like I was always like up to date with social media. I think hardly now I haven't been on social media as much as I would have before the time. And it was just, I think it was amazing that the phones were away for the week. But I just remember running to try to get my phone, and I remember they were like, no, and I was like, no, I need a phone. But no, it really did, it gave that break away without the phone. And I think like as the passport test, the past guys as well, they would actually know like that breather and how to interact with yourself. It really made you interact with yourself rather than just interact on what was on Facebook, which was absolute brilliant.
Yeah.
And I loved every bit of it. Like,
oh, amazing. Well, thank you so much, Stacey, for
Arvin, you're gone on mute there for yourself.
Thank you, Marie. I knew technical difficulties would happen at some point. So what I'm going to do is, if I'm going to post a survey in the chat, and if you could please just click on the survey and answer, what you thought about the webinar and that, and it'd be great just to hear your feedback. I think it's just important to just reiterate again, once again, that we are looking for businesses to support this project. How you do that is basically by registering to the FOLM website to collaborate. And then it's really important that if you upload your logo, your the link to your website and the name of your company, so that we can all visually see that you are supporting the project. That would be incredible. I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who has come here today. I know there was like Dave from Nev Sales, Danny from Ishka, Grace, thank you as well, Barks and Bows, Nick, and thank you to all of the participants. You've been incredible. It's amazing listening to your story. And I suppose I'll just share, if anyone wants to get in contact with me, here's my details now. If you have any more questions about the project, just please contact me on 085 804 8842 or at my email alvin.ryan@lit.ie. And you can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook to keep up with the project and how it goes. I suppose it's important to remember as well that we are recruiting for young people. So any past participants, if you have friends, let us know. We're going to be running a group in Clonmel, hopefully, fingers crossed, in January. And then we're going to have a group in Limerick as well come February and March. So we will be recruiting all next year as well for young people as well as businesses. So please spread the word about this great project. And thank you all for coming today. I'll stop recording now. So.